You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide.
You did.
People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
You said.
Oh man! Wow. Now this caught a lot of people off guard. Two guys, man, Dan Bongino and Patel, who built their reputations off exposing the corruption in America. Now they saying that he killed himself? Are we getting duped? All right, let me borrow you for a second. Aren't you tired of getting those spam calls and text messages? Do you even know why you get them? If you don't, sit tight, Alex. What's happening is these big tech companies, they're not doing a good job of keeping our data safe. They're not even trying. Like, did you know that Ticketmaster got hacked, and the only reason why they didn't inform you about it is because it didn't have a material impact on our business, quote unquote. And that data had full names, addresses, email addresses, your credit card info, which basically makes them you. And I need to be me, not them. And this is why I have to bring to your attention today the sponsor of this video, Aura.com. Aura alerts me when my data is breached, giving me fast fraud alerts and removes my info from data broker websites. All in one affordable app, might I add. Aura also allows transaction monitoring, VPN, antivirus protection, you got parental controls, identity theft insurance, and it's all in one affordable app. So listen, if my data was ever compromised, I would not worry at all. I'll sit tight because I know I got Aura in the background keeping me safe and protected all day. And this is why I can no longer let you be unprotected, as well as your family. So in order to ensure that protection, I need you to head over to aura.com/kingdomreacts right now. And you're going to get 2 weeks on us. And don't worry, I will have the link available in the description. No hesitation. It was no maybe. We seen the file. It was suicide. And look, I get it. Once you get access to intel that the rest of us don't, your views could definitely change. But after years of Epstein didn't kill himself, practically being, like a cultural truth, it raises more questions than answers. That's all I'm going to say. And as you can see, they're receiving public backlash behind this. The Quartering wrote, for years, Patel and Dan Bongino have called people crazy to believe Epstein killed himself. And now they believe, and now they've been in the club for about 40 seconds. They released a joint statement. Like it's open and shut. Nothing weird at all about it at all. He 100% did end his own life, ... And Mandy, who reposted this, added, effing sellouts. Epstein didn't kill himself. And the Las Vegas shooting was committed and covered up by our own damn government. So as you can see, some people just not buying it whatsoever. They're saying that Bongino, Quartering right here is insinuating that Bongino and Patel, they flipped. Now that they in the club. But I got to play devil's advocate here. What if they not lying? Still playing devil's advocate here. What if they're being cautious with their words because they know too much? I'm just saying, when you cross that clearance line, man, it's not just about what you know. It could be about what you're allowed to say. Now, they also spoke on being here illegally and how much time you got. And I'm with it. This is exactly what we voted for.
You said illegal alien criminals and child predators are next in your ongoing crackdown.
Oh, yeah.
How are you going to do it?
The illegal immigration problem with 20 million people came in. Yeah, okay, most of them probably were here to work in it, but a lot of them weren't. They were here to traffic in kids and fentanyl. If you were here illegally, the administration's approach, which the director and I have actioned through the agents in the field, is, listen, I'm speaking a bit hyperbolically, but correct me if I'm wrong, right? You're the lawyer. We're giving you about 5 minutes to cooperate. If you're here illegally, 5 minutes, you're out. Title 8, AEA, whatever we've got. We're not wasting an agent who's making, a decent salary, who we train. We're not wasting 3 weeks of his time to beg you for information for a proffer. We're not. We're kicking you out. The president's going to seal the border.
You said illegal
Again, this is
alien
what we
criminals
voted
and
for.
child.
I'm so tired of hearing stories every single day of children. I mean, just even recently when we heard that story from Tom Homan, how he just saved that, I believe she was a 14-year-old girl who was trafficked and pregnant. So yeah, man, I'm all for it. This is, like I said, this is exactly what we voted for. This is what we want. The Biden administration tried to undermine the American people. And right now we got people in place that ain't having it. Now, also, they spoke about the J6 files. They just confirmed that they have troves of information about January 6th, and it is being sent to Congress.
Actually happened on January 6th.
So there is, as it seems that I find myself in a similar situation as Russiagate, because on January 6th in the prior Trump administration, I was the chief of staff to the Department of Defense, and I spent 4 years in a minor fortune litigating the truth because people politicized what actually happened on January 6th. And we now know unequivocally that President Trump lawfully authorized the deployment of National Guard, and me as the head of the Office of Secretary of Defense with the Secretary of Defense took that action. When it finally came in, because it had to have the governor and mayor of D.C.'s approval on it. That's the way the law works. And once it finally came in on January 6th, remember, we offered to them days beforehand, and they rejected it. We've put out the letters, and your show has done great coverage showing how it was rejected. We mobilized the fastest cold start in Washington, D.C. since World War II, and the largest occupation of D.C. by the National Guard since the American Revolution. That's what happened on January 6th. But what you and your viewers want to know, now that we've beat back that disinformation campaign with actual truth, is what was the FBI doing? Well, we got answers coming. We just found a trove of information, and it's on its way to Capitol Hill right now. And they've asked, and they're getting them, and you're getting answers on January 6th. You're getting answers on
Amen to that.
What sourcing was utilized, what money was utilized, how many assets were utilized, who made those decisions.
We need some arrests.
You're getting it. We can only control the FBI, but you're getting it from the FBI.
Were there FBI agents undercover egging people on?
Like I said, that answer is coming, and it's on its way to Congress.
You're about to, I saw it. I saw the portfolio of information. We dug far and wide to find it. And I'm pretty sure now we have a conclusive, definitive answer. But you and the public are going to have it. You're going to see it in writing over to Capitol Hill. But I just want to be sure we're clear, having been an agent and a police officer. There is a difference between an agent. I know you know this. I don't mean to sound ridiculous. An agent, meaning a trained GS 1811 federal agent, and a source or an asset. There's a difference. So when you see the material, which I promise you is coming, again, I'm not asking you to trust us. I know it's coming because I saw it yesterday. When you see it, I just want you to understand that it's not an apology for anything.
Thank you.
But there's a difference between agents and assets.
Yeah.
And I just hope when
I just can't wait to see what information is coming out. Because again, like Wall Street Ape said, we want arrests. We want the entire January 6th committee and Nancy Pelosi thrown in jail. Kate also questions why send them to Congress. Congress refuses to do its job, and they protect each other. Somebody else says they keep saying the same stuff over and over, and you keep falling for it. So we're starting to get an understanding of how people feel about their level of transparency. 6 truths about J6 that many don't know. J6 was a protest of a alleged, I have to say that, stolen profession, not an insurrection. No police officer died on January 6th. Federal operatives organized the entrapment operation. Less than 50 J6ers were physically violent. Ashley Babbitt was murdered by LT Michael Byrd. Federal agents planted a pipe bomb and built the gallows. What am I missing? It's just a vicious world we live in. Now, James Comey. This is who I want to hear about. Out here threatening your boy Trump.
Well, Dan, throughout the Russia collusion story and the rest.
Look, I can speak to the folks that were in our seats, our predecessors, and they intentionally failed the American public by putting on the biggest DC deception game we've ever seen. They said the FBI was the most storied institution for law enforcement, and it was. And it will be again very soon. But when the likes of Comey and McCabe and Strzok and company came in here with the James Bakers of the world and intentionally lied to a federal court only to rig a presidential election by lying to the American public and using taxpayer dollars, likely illegally, to fund this entire operation and then withhold exculpatory information from a federal court that I used to appear before to manhunt terrorists, that's what broke the FBI. And then when they were caught, they lied about it. And you and a few others like Dan and others were brave enough to cover it 6, 7, 8 years ago. And we're still talking about it today because as Congress is working rigorously with us, the Crossfire Hurricane documents are coming fast and hard. And they're being sent there unredacted so we can have full accountability. And that's how you restore what the trust that was lost to the American public when it comes to the FBI.
Yeah, but come on, Director, with all due respect, we've been talking about this for a long time, and I've been demanding accountability for many, many years. One of you mentioned Comey, Strzok, and the rest. They've got TV shows. They've got media platforms. They're fine. There's been no accountability.
Well, look, it's a fair criticism, but what I will tell people is we weren't here in the FBI in the last 5 years when we had statute of limitations that were still in play, where we could have investigated criminal conduct. Most of these statute of limitations are 5 years old. And we will investigate criminal conduct where we find a righteous case to do so and the law and the facts allow us to. But a lot of it we're precluded from. So we'll take the criticism, and it's rightfully so. That could we have done more in the past? Sure, people before us could have, but what we can do now is continue to put out the documents and the information that these people withheld from the American public. And I'm just telling you right now, as much as we know about Crossfire Hurricane, he and I just found out more last week. And we're continuing to work with Congress to put those documents out. That's how vindictive and vicious the former leadership structure here was. Not only did they bastardize the FISA process and lie to the American public, they withheld and hid documentation and put it in rooms where people weren't supposed to look. And it's a good thing we're here now to clean it up, and you're about to see a wave of transparency.
What do you mean?
Just give us about a week or two.
Okay. Well, I can tell you right now that the judge that gave a smack on the wrist.
Do y'all think they flipped? They saying maybe they flipped. Maybe they finally actually are saying the real truth. Or maybe they saying too much to speak freely. All these different angles. But either way, the second you stop asking questions, you letting somebody else think for you. Y'all be safe. Please go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Thank y'all for the continued support.